Okay, it's Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving, and we are just rich with parts. I mean, I've got the head back, got all the parts here ready to go in. We even have the timing cover for the other bike, and the documentation, and the modified oil pump. So that's been modified, that's been modified. These are the instructions on installing it. So this is cool. We got lots of parts. Let's see, right now we're starting the day at roughly 9 o'clock. Okay. And we're going to go inside now and anodize this. It's not anodize. What's the word?
I think that's the word. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, we're going to heat this. Heat it and cool it.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Yeah, that. All right, we're in my kitchen now, and we are going to anneal. We remembered the word. We're going to anneal this copper head gasket for use on the Norton. I'm going to turn it on, the burner on, because I like to do that. That gets it hot. And I have MAP gas here, and I'm going to use that to heat this thing hot till it shows as hot as it's going to get. Then I toss it into the sink, into cold water. I'm going to have Kevin hold the camera as we do this. Color change is what I'm trying for all the way around. And right about now, I'm going to call her done. Toss it into the cold water. Kind of neat. All right, we'll take it out and I'll buff it a little bit just to get the scale off. And then before we put it on, we spray it with copper coat. Something I've always done. It's really neat spray on paint type deal that does a nice copper coat on the nice copper head gasket. Thank you. We're on?
We're on.
Oh, goody. I've just wire wheeled it gently to get the scaling off. I'm going to put it on here, hang it up after I spray it. This is the copper coat gasket compound that I use on copper head gaskets. So basically that's about it. We'll do another video after I get it all painted. Okay, I've got the head gasket hanging up over there, drying. So we will let that just stay there. We're going to put the valves in the head now. We'll do the process one time on video and then the rest offline. All right, so we have all the valves and bits and pieces lined up here. Oil seals go on the intakes only, not on the exhaust. And the head's here, and the tool is here, and we're going to go ahead and do one. Okay, this is fun. We've got the head clamped in, we've got the valve spring pressed down, and Kevin is now going to put one of the retainers into the valve. And this is where you dropping one of these retainers is like 90% guaranteed. And you have to be dropped into the little hole. They're just magnetic enough that they don't want to. And you have to sit there and fumble around.
Oh, come on.
And get them down into the little bitty hole in the little bitty valve. And It is so much fun.
It's magnetized. That's
Yeah, that's the problem.
yeah.
It's, you know, you sort of
Yeah.
drop it in there and take a Q-tip or something
Yeah.
and push it down.
There
Something
you go.
non-ferrous. Break the end off it.
Yep.
Yeah, and then just drop it in, and it's an adventure. Now it looks like that's upside down. The thin end is up.
Oh, of course it is.
Of course it is.
Yeah, it would have flipped over on me naturally.
Oh yeah.
I know.
And the fun just never stops. Oh, you can tell we're amateurs at video because this is ridiculous. And you can move the head around to change the position of the hole.
There we go. Dropped
Okay,
right in.
Dropped right in.
Looked like I knew what I was doing.
Okay. So at this point in time, just to save Kevin embarrassment, we're gonna call this one done, and we'll pick up the video after we've done all four. Okay, all four valves are in. Seated nicely. Beautiful. I'm going to show you something that I do, that I only do because my father used to do it when he would rebuild engines. That's the only reason. So I'm going to show you what I do just because my dad did. Take a small piece of something soft. This is plastic. Put it on here. Let's see if I can do this and show you and not hit the casting. And just give it a smack. And all that does is, I don't know what it does. Theoretically, it makes sure that the valve is kicked down a little bit and doesn't pop the locking clips out. And I've just always done it because my dad did it. And I've never had a valve retainer pop out, but I keep doing it. It's hard working at this angle. There you go. One each head, put back together. Looks good. All right. Okay, four valves installed. Just for grins, it's 9:30. So it took roughly 30 minutes to put these valves in and get them all seated and ready to be reassembled. Oh, I know what I wanted to say.
Huh.
We should have videotaped the second valve because when we did the second and third and fourth valves, the little retainer clips just sort of jumped into the hole. It was so neat. I mean, they just went in smoothly. The first one was the roughest one, but so you got to see that. Okay, we've got the head in the oven right now at 300 degrees, warming it up. So we took a break and we put the new oil seals into the timing cover for the other bike. And I decided I would try something that one of the followers on the YouTube videos suggested, where he said, heat the fitting and then press the tubing onto it. And I said, I wouldn't retain enough heat. Well, we're standing here wondering what should we do while that head was heating up in the oven, and I said, let's try it. I don't know, maybe it'll work. So we tried it, and it worked. So Kevin is heating up with one of the fittings. I've got a little piece of tubing left over, and I'm going to come over here and press this on and see if we can't get the same success as, okay, let's warm it up. I'm going to take, where am I? Okay, here, take the camera.
Yep.
And I'm going to press this on and press it down, and it goes straight down beautifully. I swear to goodness, that's a heck of a lot easier than what I did before. So once again, one of the guys following the YouTube videos came up with a better idea, and I appreciate it. That's really cool. So heat this, press and slide that on, rather than heating the plastic tubing and trying not to melt it. You know, you can't beat that with a stick. Cool. All right, we put in a intake and a exhaust, and they're both spring-loaded so that they are self-centering. I can't find there. Go see that moving? So the springs are working. We are using the extra washer that we took out because I like them. I like having the smooth washers against the moving part, which is the rocker, okay, like that. And then the spring actually goes on the inside, if I were putting this in properly, that would go over here, like so. Now what I did years ago is I made this tool out of a piece of rod, and it fits through here and goes all the way in like the rocker shaft. And I use that to line up, put the first washer on, then we slide the rocker on, then we slide the spring washer and the flat washer inside. So at this point, Kevin, why don't you hold this,
Okay.
and I will try to do all that I just discussed. By the way, this flat has to go towards the inside of the motor head. This hole lines up with the oil line that comes from here and goes down into here. If you look, I don't know if you can see in here. Where's the flashlight? All right. Can you see the hole in there? That's the oil hole that we have to match up against. Oh yeah, you can see that. Good. So this is going to go in, has to line up. This notch here has to line up there while this is going in. Oh, that's a consideration. All right. So right now I'm going to put a little grease on this to hold it in place. Slide this in just like that. Now I'm gonna, it's just stuck to my finger.
Yeah.
All right, stick in there, you little so-and-so. I can't do this, all right? A little more grease. Now I'm going to try sliding this in with any luck. I'm going to have to get over here though. There, and that's in, holding it in place. Now at this point, with the rocker on the guiding shaft, we try to get these two on, which is a whole lot of fun. We're going to put this against the rocker arm, because that moves, and this against the casting. And we're probably going to abort this video because this is not fun. You have to collapse this spring and hold the ends tight, like so, as you slide it in here into that tiny little opening. And it usually takes about, maybe 8, 10, 16 tries, give or take, because it never goes easy. And at this point, go ahead and hit stop. All right, resuming the video. The guide tool that I made is all the way through. And if you look in here, you can see the spring washer and the flat washer inside. The flat washer is against the rocker, spring washer against the casting. Over here, flat washer against this side. And everything's in place and is nicely spring loaded. Watch, see the spring compressing? So it's still got spring tension on it. Okay, so now we can draw this out and tap the shaft in with the flat facing in and finish up the job. We will resume this in a moment. Let's see how to stop. Okay, so this one's installed now, and good rocker action, good spring action. It is spring loaded. Okay, and the oil line over here is lined up. Get the light up a little bit farther into there. Up, yeah, like that. Okay, there's your oil line coming down into it. Now this is fun. Okay, the oil line comes into the shaft just beautifully, but when you put the cap on, these little notches here are, let me see if I can, okay, these little notches here are used to keep this shaft from accidentally rotating. So they go into the little notches. When they go into the little notches, yeah, am I getting there?
Yeah, here.
Am I still, okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Silly things don't line up necessarily. So rather than give up the oil, I want maximum oil up here, I just file a little bit off of these. I'll show you later on. We still need the notches. You can't take them off completely, but you can make them a little bit thinner so that the oil, so that the mounting holes will line up better. Okay, so one more to do, and we'll have the rockers in. Okay, the head is ready to be dropped onto the cylinders. All the rocker shafts are in. I've unadjusted all of the rocker adjustments, valve adjustments. They're completely out. The push rods are in place. The longer ones go in the center. And this has to be dropped on as a unit. You can't put the push rods in afterwards. So we have to hold these up in the air, up inside the head, move the head over the cylinders, and then drop them into the holes as we lower the head onto the jugs. It's ready, except that, you know what? I need to put the 3 studs into this head before I drop it down. So I'm going to do that next. All right, I've got the 3 studs installed in the head. I have the 2 studs installed in the cylinders. I have the bolt and the 2 nuts and washers and nut that go into the front of the head. And I have the 2 nuts that go onto the sides of the head. And then these are the head bolts that go down through the head. Sounds complicated. That's only because it is. So now I get to drop this thing on. I'm going to set the tripod up, and everybody can have a good laugh at the difficulty in dropping this thing on. It's not fun. All right, this is my 3rd try to drop the head on. The first 2 just didn't work. They did teach me that you have to come to address the cylinders with the head from the back side, carb side, with it tilted back, and then tilt it forward and drop the push rods into the holes, and hopefully it'll settle down. This time, instead of trying to hold the push rods up in the head with my fingers, which just didn't work, I put a rubber band across them to hold them up, and I'm going to hopefully drop them on and be able to reach in there and cut the rubber band and pull it back out and see how that works. If the rubber band does not end up inside the engine, it would be successful. And if it does end up inside the engine, then it would be not so successful. Anyway, that's what I'm going to try. Here I come, addressing the engine. Hello, engine. My goodness. Push rods are in the holes. I'm going to reach in and cut the rubber band now. is out. Push rods are in the holes. Let's see if we can drop it down onto the studs. Just like so. Okay, now, with it still up in the air, and they say use 2 nuts to hold it up in the air a little bit, we have to get the push rods into the rocker arms. So I'm going to lift it up a little bit high, right about here. Get these nuts inside, maybe. Maybe not. Oh, I don't know. I'm going to stop this video while I try to get the push rods into the rocker arms so I can drop the head the rest of the way. Okay, with the video not running, I was able to lift the head up about ½ an inch or so and insert the nuts under the head to hold it up in the air. And there's one right here. So I'm holding it up about the height of the nut. Now I'm supposed to reach in there and gently hook the push rods to the rocker arms with a wire and a flashlight. Oh, it's so much fun. All right, surprisingly, that wasn't that difficult. You go in through the exhaust rocker box and you reach inside, and let's see if I can show you under here. Not really, it's very difficult. Anyway, you go in with a wire probe and move the push rod underneath the rocker ball, drop, and then press the ball down to hold it in place, and do that on both sides. You do that for the intake and the exhaust, right through the exhaust rocker adjustment area. So they're all sitting in their push rods right now. I'm going to snug the rocker arms down a little bit, pull out the supporting nuts, drop it the rest of the way, and then see if everything stays in place. And the fun just never stops. Yeah, I've done this before. I mean, I've done it probably half a dozen bikes. I've never tried to show it to anybody else. I've just struggled and done it. It's different when you're trying to do it on video. So anyway, here we go. Okay, I don't want to tell you what time it is because it's ridiculously late. 3:15 in the afternoon. The head is installed and torqued all around properly. I've got good valve action. I'm going to turn the motor over by hand now. You can watch these front rocker arms go up and down just like they should. Okay, here we go. Should be able to see them going up and down nicely. Gaps are properly set. Now we'll come around here and you can see the intakes. And they're going up and down nicely. They are properly set. The gaps are 6/1000ths on the intakes and 8/1000ths on the exhaust. And so far so good, looks good. I'm going to call it the day now because I'm really tired. It's been a stressful day doing this. It's not easy. So, tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I don't expect I'll be working on any motorcycles tomorrow. I'm going to friends for dinner. And then we'll pick this up on Friday. So far, so good.